Hey guys, and welcome back to Link's Awakening DX. Not much more of the playthrough to go now, so let's head on over to Eagle's Tower. Take it away, Maxi.
In the last part, I pulled an anime and we had a filler episode. Hey, be grateful I didn't pull an anime and have us all do a recap episode, though if I did, I'm pretty sure I would have done just like Korra, because at least then it could be slightly entertaining.
It wasn't too bad, but I can understand why people got pissed off at that.
Also, I decided to finally show off this little technique to make unstoppable Link.
Yeah, you're just plainly showing off right now.
Well, I had no reason to do it earlier. I mean, I was just running past everything. And, spoilers, Freedom Chicken's gonna go away. And so we will lose our mighty Freedom Cock.
Aww.
I know. Also intentional damage, because I want to show off a fairy fountain for no good reason.
Okay, I was gonna say, because you showed off one like earlier in the playthrough.
Well, this one is also pretty convenient just because we are really far away from everything, basically. We're in the northeast quadrant, the most northeast that you can possibly get on this island.
It's also kind of weird, like, going through this game, not seeing you having any of Crazy Marie's potions and the like. I think I asked this earlier, but are we ever going to go visit her?
Yes.
Ah, okay.
But, like, at the very fucking end, I don't need it. I don't even know why I'm getting the heart pieces. I don't need them. I don't get hit, so I'm just being greedy at this point.
Man, you're grumpy when you wake up and do commentary immediately.
Finally the dungeon. It took a while. We made it. Eagle's Tower. I like Eagle's Tower. I like it because you have a lot of options in ways to defeat it. However, the complete flip side of that coin is that it is a fucking pain in the ass to record. Because there are a lot of different ways you can beat this dungeon. So when you look up a guide for it, you're like, wow, this guy took a really long way. Wow, this guy kind of skipped a little too much. I can't find just a basic route.
Well, I remember H4 playing this for the Zelda-thon, and they got really stuck in. Honestly, I don't blame them. This was always kind of a stumbling point for me back in the day. What you basically got to do is go around the Eagle's Tower, find these like columns and like, and throw this giant medicine ball or whatever into them, and it makes a very satisfying sound effect, by the way, when you toss it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And this is one thing that I do like about this dungeon is that the progress of the dungeon isn't a linear progression through rooms. You're given a base puzzle for the whole dungeon, and it pretty much just lets you figure out your way. You're not supposed to break this tower before that one. It's just a matter of get it done. Here's your task. Here are the parameters. It's all up to you, and I love that when video games in general, but more specifically when Zelda does that. Because my problem with modern Zelda isn't the simplicity. It's not the 3D. It's not even the difficulty. It's the restraint. It's the fact that you have to do things this way, and this is the only way to get through it, and that's probably why I enjoy speedruns of the 3D games, because it's essentially saying, no, fuck you, I'ma go here now.
Like, instead of having to collect all the spiritual stones, you just basically back into it and go through a crack in the wall.
Exactly. Because you know that, whereas with Eagle's Tower, there are a lot of ways that if you want to break some other towers before this point, I just wanted to do it in a less clippy fashion. And even then, I do skip a good chunk of the keys in this dungeon. But even casually, you'll skip most of the keys.
I think I got stuck at one point, not just trying to find, like, the columns and the like, but it was like a brain fart of sorts. Like, I just didn't realise you could throw it across the barriers and the like, and I guess that's what caused me to stumble.
Yeah, and like, here's 1.2. The mirror shield is being blocked by these raised platforms. If you have the boomerang, you can just hit the switch and get the mirror shield right away. I could have done that, but it would have been unnecessary. It's not like I need the mirror shield any sooner. And this key I'm getting is also optional. The only reason I'm getting it is because, spoilers, there's a secret seashell in this dungeon. And in order to keep this dungeon moving at a decent pace where I'm not constantly playing the mambo, I just needed to make sure I had a key so that these platforms remain raised.
That's a very satisfying shade of green, and that spot right there I think is where I got stuck originally.
And here's another thing about Eagle's Tower that's cool. It's a very petty Zelda game design, but when later dungeons have just random mini-bosses in random rooms, I just love it as a concept, just because it's sort of a power gauge that, hey, these enemies that were so intimidating, which, the giant intimidating in the second dungeon, yeah, no. Now they're just regular enemies, have fun.
Oh my god, it's Kirby!
It's the anti-Kirby, but he works exactly like Kirby, only he's fucking annoying and I don't like him.
I knew he was a nightmare, I knew it all along.
Not a meta nightmare?
Man, you really need some coffee, don't you?
These enemies are called Three of a Kind, and I like their little gimmick, not pretty much killing them, because the gimmick is they only die when all three of them have the same suit on board.
Hence Three of a Kind.
Yeah, what the gimmick about them I really like is that if you kill them with diamond, they'll all drop rupees. If you kill them with heart, they'll all drop hearts. Which I think that's adorable. And before I entered this room, I kind of wanted to show off that in that room, you can see the bombable wall at the top. That's pretty much the dick move of this dungeon. I will wholeheartedly admit it. I will 100% give it to anyone who hates Eagle's Tower because of this bombable wall. Where the only hint is you have two torches that are kind of they're close to each other. But you can see the bombable wall by using basic room geometry and be like, that room is actually above this room, and that's bombable on this side. Let me put some logic together and realize, oh, that's a bombable wall.
Still crazy to see like graphics like that on a Game Boy. I guess I'm just easily impressed.
It is a pretty impressive hardware. I mean, I always like to throw it in Modern Gamers Nerds that it was a 60 frames per second machine, but then again, everything was.
Yeah, well, now that we have 60 FPS power on the YouTubes, you can see all the shadows, all the rupees, before they disappear even.
All the flickering. That's the thing, is the fucking flickering.
Right, especially in like Mega Drive games. Oh my god, you go back and watch our Sonic 3 and Knuckles playthrough, the Master Emerald Shrine looks like shit.
Yeah, at least the commentary's good.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so here's the mini-boss, the predecessor to the Skull Kid, the Grim Reaper, whatever.
Nice.
You can actually get to him a lot early. Like we said, the basic puzzle of the dungeon was you needed to lower the center section of Eagle's Tower, and that brought down the room to the left of this room. But if you enter it, there's still a platform there. So I'm kind of confused. Yeah, you needed to enter the boss room, but to get to the mini-boss, you don't really need to drop that center platform. And regardless of at what period of time you beat him, the mini-boss music is glitched. You know, similar to Catfish's Mall, where it just keeps playing even though the mini-boss music is over.
To make it stop.
Yeah, obviously this is to indicate that, you know, the creeper is still alive because he said he's going to get his revenge on Catfish Mall was obviously because I broke the game. And I do like how we're getting the top-down perspective of the Goombas, and they look exactly the same as in the side-scrolling perspective.
Well, it's like Mickey Mouse, you know, he turns to the side, his ears are always the same shape.
Also, look at this. A child with a skull face and two floating things nearby him. Yeah.
Sorry, my joy just kind of took off there thinking of Majora's Mask. Man, I forgot how well, like, animated the eagle of Eagle's Tower is.
The evil bird. A lot of people call this the hardest boss in the game, which, okay, not really. It flies around, and all you have to do is hit it before it flies into you. You can use any number of items to hit it. I prefer the hook shot because it's a bit easier to hit him on the higher altitudes. Because there are times where he'll fly supposedly too high for you to hit, but it's like, just use your hook shot, dude. And then he'll also try to blow you off. He'll also try and send feathers at you. He pretty much pulls Storm Eagle. It's Storm Eagle, guys.
Yeah, kind of reminds me of Dark Gaia Phoenix as well, to bring a little bit of Sonic into this Zelda playthrough.
Just a little bit, it needs it. And I love this. I love how on the attacks where you're supposedly just supposed to run, he is still vulnerable. He's vulnerable at all times. Another thing I like with Zelda bosses. And I got that cheap hit in on him. And yeah, pretty cool ending to this dungeon.
Yeah, it was a pretty sweet finisher, actually. Yeah, have this in your beak.
I just need you to compliment me, Tom. That's all I need. Please, give this to me.
Well, since you've just woken up, here's your compliment for waking up, I guess.
Yay, I performed a basic human function.
Let's listen. That's actually kind of nice, especially since when we're recording this, it's basically sundown for me right now. It's pretty chill.
Okay, see, Windfish, that's not a hint. All you did was just name an item in my inventory. You very easily could have just said, Mirror Shield. The Mirror Shield is shiny. Like, all the other ones have been pretty helpful. I don't know why that last one had to completely drop the fucking ball.
By the by, Freedom Cock is mine now. See ya.
God, no! My Freedom Cock! No longer shall I wave majestically and free.
Oh yeah, I could say many things here, but I'm gonna hold my tongue this time.
Mountain backtracking. It would be nice if the Tall Heights music didn't cut out every time you entered a cave. It doesn't get good until about a couple seconds into it.
So I guess next part is the final dungeon, am I right?
Yeah, pretty much. Since Eagle's Tower didn't take all that long, I'm just gonna include the pre-dungeon segment in this part. Which, it's kind of funny that in the beginning I had to put multiple dungeons in one part, and then in the middle they got long enough that I could have, you know, dungeon per part. And now I'm at the point where I have to include even extra shit to these dungeons. The later dungeons get kind of shorter. Especially Eagle's Tower, because like I said, I decided to go with a very efficient route in a dungeon that allows you to do that.
This fucking guy.
The photographer. He's a pretty good character, and I'm surprised that they don't try to reference back to him a bit more.
Yeah, I think he could have worked in Termina, personally.
He could have. I mean, we get a Picto box, but instead we get, you know, secondary archery guy with goggles. Who's actually Tingle's dad!
Yeah, who fucking hates the fact that his son is such a man-child. Luigi, what are you doing there?
Give me back my cock, Luigi, you fucker.
Is that the precursor to the Animal Buddies in the Oracle games?
I believe so. But I'm just gonna let you know, I hate you, Luigi, and I hate you, Freedom Cock. I thought what we had was special.
Look at that sea animation in the background. By God, I'm easily impressed.
Well, maybe if it was green, you'd be more impressed.
Possibly.
Also, what the fuck was Marin doing up here? I know she says she was kidnapped, but girl, you were supposed to be back in the animal village. You were supposed to be eternally singing to them. Just why?
Don't worry, Taryn, I've got this. You ready, Marin? Hurt, hike! Sploosh.
I like how she's like, oh, Taryn worries too much. Are you sure, Marin? Because you kind of just told me you were kidnapped, you were placed as a hostage, and you were kind of left stranded on a giant bridge floating in the sky. I think your dad is right to worry. In fact, I think he may need to lock you in your house just so that you can avoid being kidnapped again.
Don't play the Ballad of the Windfish until you get all of the instruments, otherwise it's a little bit of a buzzkill.
Yeah, I like how they try to keep throwing that out there. Like, you know, I hear that egg likes music. I mean, it's just something I heard. Means absolutely nothing. But, just once again, I think that egg likes music.
Yeah. Like in Majora's Mask, they basically just say, you know, this is the oath to order. You got to use it when you get all the masks. Don't forget about it.
Oh yeah, they do that too. I remember being a kid getting Oath to Order. I was like, well, I got the song and I got a giant. I don't see why I can't just use it now. And then, you know, you get the cutscene. So once again, another really good comparison between Link's Awakening and Majora's Mask.
That's probably why I like them so much, really.
They're very, very similar. Way more so than a lot of people realize at face value. And also, final Mad Batter.
Yes, I'm going to bestow upon you awesome powers. Oh, what a horrible thing to happen to you.
What a terrible night for a curse of more arrows.
Oh, so thank you, Mad Batter.
It really is the best upgrade to the arrows. I just kind of wish maybe I should have stolen the bow a lot sooner just so I could get the arrow upgrade from the get-go and just shot everything with arrows to get the one-hit kills.
Are you going to be showing off that particular tidbit in the playthrough?
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay, we'll find out on the maybe for now.
I can't ruin the surprise, dude. And there was your use for the mirror shield. That's it. There you go. That is the story reason to get the mirror shield, is to bypass that fire shooter. But You could also just jump past it. It's even easier when, like Tom said, you have one of Tracy's potions, so there's a pretty easy casual sequence break to do the last dungeon before the penultimate dungeon.
Where's all the telephone lines? Do they just run underground or something?
Hey, Tom. Shh.
Oh.
Magic. And it's a dream.
Oh, yeah, well, actually, yeah, very good point. Okay, guys, we shall see you next time for the final dungeon. Bye-bye.